Welcome to Feedback Wednesday. I'm your host, Dr. Corey Allen, alongside my wife, who is the voice of all women out there, all wives.
There might be some women that dispute that.
There might be. But my wife, Pam, the Passionately Married podcast, our mission is to explore topics every relationship faces, and then we want to offer a framework that helps you cultivate the space between you.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that happens with the long game of married life is we want the passion to be vibrant and alive. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times that really does exist in the space between us. And so the conversations we have, the actions we can take are the ways that we can propel our life forward. If you're new to the show, on Feedback Wednesdays, we give direct answers to your questions and your feedback. And if you got other things that you want us to cover that we haven't done, let us know, 214-702-9565 or feedback@passionatelymarried.net. And there's been a lot going on that since the last time we've been able to do this.
Yeah.
We've had a variety of different episodes with guests lately. So episode 606 was How Sex Works in Our Brains, which is Emily Nagoski. Mm-hmm. And I love the fact that she reworked her book, Come As You Are, throughout the COVID pandemic and the lockdown, and just updated it based on the science that was current. And then Dr. Alexandra Stockwell with Passion Killers. And the biggest one that we got the most feedback, or I heard the most information from, was the idea of compromise is one of the biggest ways you kill passion.
Right. I love that one too.
I love the counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Take a different slant to it.
Yeah, because so many people say, oh, well, just compromise.
Yeah, that's the key to it. You got to do that.
Yeah, then nobody's happy.
And then the importance of agency with Dr. Juliana Hauser, which was so great on how we all need to learn to stand on our own 2 feet. That was the way you put it. Mm-hmm. And there was just such an overlap of the missions we have in her and the research she's got. It was so good. And then last week was Christopher West with Our Bodies Tell God's Story. Mm-hmm. And what's been fun about that is, now with the change over to Passionately Married, we are on all of the social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Yeah. So hello, YouTube, since we're doing these via video. But we got some feedback on one of the questions I did with a Q&A. And maybe you need to talk to Christopher West on the theology of the body.
Yeah, these people disagreed with what you said.
Right, they didn't like my answer.
Use Christopher West as the answer.
And it was so great because I was able to reply back, actually, that's this week's episode. Here's the link, So we have had this interaction. Enjoy the conversation. So there's been a lot going on. There's another big thing that's worth mentioning, Pam. Naked Marriage is now available on Audible.
Well done.
After all these years of having that book out there in print form, it is now in Audible form. And so go to Audible, search for Naked Marriage with my name. You'll find it. There's also another author out there that has taken the title with a slight variation with one word. But you'll find the book there.
Yeah, so look for Dr. Corey Allen. Super proud of you for getting that done. It's exciting to have that.
It's so great to finally have that thing done. That was quite the ordeal. Yeah. To make that happen. And then here's some feedback we also got from a listener of a review that says, brilliant. I've been following Corey and Pam for years. Incredible insights and depth of knowledge, and just a wonderful, real, down-to-earth couple. No hype, just real life and real practical help. As a professional practitioner, Corey is deeply studied and well-read and very experienced. Love it. So
well, thanks.
We will be shooting out a special gift to this reviewer for leaving us a review. So if you want to help us out and possibly get a gift if we use your message on the show, go to iTunes and Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. It helps us spread the word. Well, coming up today is a bunch of your questions and our answers. And there's some good ones today. So
well, I'm looking forward to it.
Buckle up. Here we go. So to start off, Pam, there's some feedback that came from episode 604, which is actually right before the changeover.
Okay.
We reran Trust versus Hurt, the episode that we did many years ago. And this is from a wife saying, I know you didn't mean for it to come off this way, but I feel I need to address how this made me feel while listening to the episode. You discussed that both partners are responsible in co-creating an environment that in some situations makes betrayal occur. But this truly rubs me the wrong way. it comes off as if the person that has been betrayed had a role in causing it to happen, or somewhat, so to speak. While I agree that the betrayed partner may have had a role in co-creating the environment or lack thereof, in no way do they cause the other partner to actually betray their marriage or their partner. To me, this just sounds selfish. My lack of attention or lack of sex or lack of anything does not make my partner betray me. Their lack of discipline or lack of confidence or lack of whatever is what caused them to step out or betray their spouse. This is almost like saying a person that has been physically or sexually abused had a role in their abuse. I know it's not what you mean, but it might be helpful to the nation and those that are still healing or have recently discovered a betrayal and are processing trust and hurt currently, and that to know that they didn't cause it. Now, that doesn't mean you aren't, while you're healing, you don't figure out what your role was in leading up to the undesirable environment that allowed the broken trust to occur, but that's totally different than feeling and trying to process thinking you, your body, your attitude, your lower desire, etc., caused your spouse to betray you. Hope this makes sense. Just really wanted to give you my point of view. And then she adds in, I also completely agree with Pam about how she explained the hurt moment that you had when you came home one day. I truly feel that that's more often the thought of can I keep this up? Can I keep up my end of the teamwork so that we don't end up in a negative environment again? Am I still enough so this doesn't happen again, etc.? So thank you, Pam, for clarifying that to the nation. So we've always been people that try to get the feedback because we want to know how our message lands.
Yeah.
Right. Because when we're saying something, sometimes we might miss it. We might skirt it and not be as clear. But from what I remember from this, I'm pretty sure we were clear. I hope I was clear on the betrayal is always the person's choice. Mm-hmm. Right. Someone chooses to act out of line of whatever their vow, their commitment, their character, their integrity was. Mm-hmm. But what she's talking about on the co-creating of the environment absolutely does happen.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Right.
We're on the same page here with what she's saying. So, yeah.
But it is interesting because at the end of it, when she's saying, can I keep it up? Can I hold my end of the bargain? Am I still enough so that this doesn't happen again? It's still the same thread of we co-created, right?
Yeah. Am I still enough?
And that's the struggle.
Am I enough?
Because
it's a big question.
Because this is the biggest thing that I keep coming across, Pam, when you're talking about just marital dynamics and relationship dynamics, that we co-create so much of what happens, and it's not linear.
Okay.
Right? Because we could have a season of where one of us is just neglectful of the relationship. That's a possibility.
Sure it is.
Right? Because other things are going on, or even if it's completely understandable. I mean, I think back to the time 15 years ago when you lost your father from cancer.
Yeah.
And you were checked out of the relationship for a while because you're in a huge grieving process, which is totally understandable when you look at it with the circumstance. Mm-hmm. So that creates a different environment in a relationship. Does that cause something to happen where now all of a sudden I go out and do something nefarious and stupid? It could, but that's the same thing as could happen if I would do that anyway, even when our relationship is good. Because Esther Perel talks about some people just cheat.
Yeah,
you know, she's gotten a name for herself with the idea of happy people still cheat in relationships. It just happens.
Temptation's there, right? And sometimes people just give into it.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, we've always got to be intentional and on our guard.
Right.
For the things that are coming our way. And that's just all there is to it. We have to be responsible for ourselves, how we act within our relationship, and how we act within our own, in line with our own individual integrity, regardless of the other relationships around us.
Right.
I mean, that's just what it comes down to.
And that's where I love the idea that my goal, and I think our message here at Passionately Married, is how am I creating stuff that's self-respecting as far as the steps I take, the moves I make, everything that I do that's relationally driven. It needs to have a major component of self-respect built in. Mm-hmm. That's the goal I've got. Yeah. Is it self-respecting moves? Because then I want it to be where you choose me and it's good judgment.
Yeah.
Right. the times that you could choose me and it's bad judgment, that's kind of, it's like, wait,
I'm still choosing you because I'm married to you, and that's a commitment I'm making.
Right, but that's also a commitment you make more to yourself and me. It's
Okay.
both. Am I wrong?
Well, because I committed to a marriage relationship, it is to both of us. But if you're not acting respectable, that's really me doing that for me, I think, just to know that I'm in line with my integrity.
Exactly. And that's the whole point, is because you've earned you in that. And that way, that's how you can't ensure something doesn't happen, but you can help increase the relationship you have with yourself if something does.
Yeah.
Which makes it easier to make the appropriate moves accordingly.
Yeah.
And that's the main premise we want to try to get across. And of course, from that show, you have to separate out trust and hurt.
Sure.
Those are two different paths to heal.
Yeah.
And that was the whole point. But I love the fact that people are willing to speak up and say, this kind of rubbed me wrong. Are you sure about this?
Yeah.
Because that helps us all be better.
Yeah.
Well, moving on. Another email came in. It says, hey there, my wife and I have been married for almost 2 years, and I've been struggling with a pornography addiction the entire time. There have been good seasons and bad seasons for me, but it's been never completely gone. I'm leaps and bounds from where I was in high school and college, but it's still definitely something I'd say I'm addicted to because I want to stop, but I just can't seem to. Lately, I've been wrestling with the question of whether or not I should tell my wife. She knows I've struggled with porn in my life, but I don't believe she knows that it's still been a struggle during our marriage. I'm just stuck on whether it would do more harm or good to tell her. I know what I've done is a potential marriage ender, and the thought of that makes me want to run away and hide and never tell her. But I also know that marriage is about oneness, honesty, and vulnerability, and whether or not I tell her, what I've done is hurting our marriage. I just don't know whether it's a good idea to tell her and go through the pain and hurt that would cause, or just do my best to deal with it by myself and hopefully heal and move on without having to hurt her any more than I already have. Any advice is greatly appreciated. This is a tough one because there's a lot of complications. I mean, there's a lot of things that are at play in this.
There are complications because I've got a couple different things running through my head, and I'm curious what you have to say about them, because you think about, in my mind, I think, everything ends up coming out at some point.
Right.
So honesty and figuring and understanding what it is you're dealing with can be something helpful within a relationship, right? That's full disclosure. That's real intimacy there, that she understands that. But there's all these other dynamics. So you roll with this. You roll with this and tell me where you would come at this from fella to fella.
What I'm thinking of is when you're new into a relationship, there's still some dynamics of we're still hidden from each other in some ways. We don't really know each other yet. We're still figuring each other out, and it's easy to give
meaning even at 2 years married.
Absolutely, because again, Schnarch's phrase always comes back into my mind when I'm thinking about marriage: is nothing prepares you for marriage but marriage.
Yeah.
And so when you're really starting to overlap, Rob Bell even made a comment that marriage is thousands of different little conversations about how you're going to do life together.
Yeah.
That's what you're figuring out when you're starting. And even us 29 years in, as we're recording this, there's still things we're figuring out.
Yeah.
Most of the major ones, I think we've got pretty well settled away. But again, that will change
the
too.
Major ones we've had so far.
Well, major ones as in family, the importance of family, raising kids, money, some of those things, right? But you have the overlapping of two different parts of our life, or two different lives that you use to also create together.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously this is a journey. It sounds like he's done largely on his own. So the first question I've got is, what's your main motivation for wanting to tell her? Because in no way, shape, or form is she an accountability partner.
Right.
For this, right? So the point of telling her is never to help you get better with what you're trying to battle. If you want to truly, and I would recommend this first and foremost, find another man or two to walk squarely alongside you with this.
Mm-hmm.
that you can be honest with, that you can account yourself to, because it's not them checking up on you. The best thing I've ever found in men trying to really overcome pornography struggles is go walk alongside other men, check in with them every single day, and commit to 24 hours every morning. You wake up, you text your fellas, I commit to 24 hours, no porn today.
So it's like you're doing it in small chunks.
Because the whole, this is the reason, okay, the best analogy that comes to my mind is this is the reason why when smokers that have been lifelong smokers and they get a scare and they like, oh, I'm quitting them.
Yeah.
And that's one of the hardest things to quit, right? I mean, I've worked with licensed chemical dependency counselors before that they talk about, they've had clients come in that have been addicted to heroin, cocaine, crack, and cigarettes. And the hardest one to get off of? Cigarettes. So they always say that short-term fear will keep it at bay. Mm-hmm. But in the long run, it just weeds its way back in.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I can't think for that far. Death is too far away to think about. Yeah. So I'm just going to live my life.
Yeah.
Well, so the similar kind of thing happens where you need somebody to check in regularly with, because accountability is them not checking up on you. It's you being accountable for you with them.
To them. So you're the one that has to be proactive. Don't wait for them to reach out.
You have to do the heavy lifting. And you need guys that when you have those days where you do slip and you say, yep, 3 hours, totally wasted yesterday. They're like, all right, dude, how do you want to do better today? What's your plan?
3 hours.
What's your goal?
Okay, sorry.
Well,
that's all.
I've been doing this for 20 years with clients and then 9 years with mastermind groups. And so some guys use mastermind groups for that, where it's like they got on a dark path that night and just lost all that time.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Well, okay.
That shouldn't be wow, maybe, no, but I just never thought.
All right, with your brain, let me correlate.
Think about people drifting on Facebook forever.
That's where I was going. How easy is it to just get lost on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, and also you look up like, holy cow,
where did the time go? Yeah,
the same thing that's going on. It's just naked people having sex most of the time when you're dealing with pornography. So, but it's the escape of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you need that regardless, sir. Whether you tell her or not, again, it comes back to what's the motivation. You do need to tell her eventually. I think it needs to be out in the open, because that's what creates the oneness. That's what creates this intimacy he's talking about.
Yeah.
That he's longing for. But if it's to unburden you, it's not the time to tell her.
Right, because you're just taking a load off and dumping it on her with no solution in play, no nothing.
Right.
And now she's concerned.
It'll set her back, because this is our journey.
Exactly.
To a degree for those that are new to the show or maybe haven't heard the whole story, a week before we got married, I disclosed to you a pornography and lust issue.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did it under the auspices of, I just want to make sure I go into this marriage clean.
Yeah.
With no expectation, no idea how it would land on you. I thought this was a good, genuine, intimacy-inducing move.
Yeah.
And it was an intimacy-inducing move, but not the comfortable kind. Because it rocked everything.
It rocked everything. I mean, it killed our sexual life for a long time, because I didn't know how to handle it. Mm-hmm. And it killed me mentally on where I thought and assumed you were during, sexual encounters with the two of us. It wreaked all kinds of havoc. In hindsight now, 29 years later, I love where we are now. I love where we have been on this journey and what we're able to do with it now. But the way it was presented initially wasn't good.
Right, because the motivation from me was not clean and pure. It wasn't relational driven.
Yeah.
It was me unburdening myself. So I can't really say, here's when you should bring your spouse in. I will say, if she asks in the course of conversations, do not lie about it.
Absolutely.
Because most everything I've ever come across with couples where there's been any sense of betrayal, virtually or otherwise, even physically with other people, the betrayal was magnified by the lying about it. That was the bigger deal.
Yeah.
Right? Why couldn't you just tell me the truth?
Yeah.
Because if she knows you've had a struggle in the past, it's not a foreign idea.
No, it's not.
And in our society, most women know it's out there. It's available. We're walking around with porn portals in our pockets.
Yeah, little iPhones.
All the time.
Yeah.
So be clean about that. But as far as I think you would kind of know and email back in, call us back in. I think you'll know when the time could be that it could actually be a move towards a better relationship, not just a one-sided move.
Right, right. And if it comes up and you've already got, like Corey's talking about, this team of guys, one guy, two guys that
there needs to be one or two
that you're being proactive about, and you're figuring out how to address this. When it comes up with her, I guess I'm speaking for me. I don't know your wife and how she would react. Over time, when she really thinks about it, I got to think that there's going to be a softening of realizing, okay, he's doing something about this.
Mm-hmm.
He's proactively doing something about this.
Because those are integrity moves of I'm doing this for me and us.
I would hope at some point in the that's not too much a gap from when it's disclosed to her, that she can step back and look and really see the big picture of what it is you're doing to try and change that pattern.
Right.
Proactively.
Right. Because everybody, and let's kind of end it with this, at least this segment. Pornography has a stigma in our world, in our culture, particularly in religious circles,
mm-hmm.
because it can be incredibly destructive.
Mm-hmm.
On all sides of the equation, not just for the relationships and the users, but also the ones producing it.
Right.
Right. It's incredibly destructive. But I don't want to go so fast as it is a bigger sin than I'm disconnecting in other ways from my relationship. I'm not involved. I've got all these other things leaking out sexually that, so it's just, I want to at least soften it some so we don't just land on this one topic as if it is the huge, the pinnacle of everything that is wrong.
Okay.
And everything that escapes.
Okay.
Because it's back to what we said earlier. When you have a lot of different time where, because we hear this a bunch, I hear this a bunch from clients that, my spouse is always on Facebook or Insta or on a game or they're playing Xbox or, there's a bunch of different things those aren't relationally driven things when they go to excess.
Yeah.
Right. They're independent escapes of things. And so same kind of thing applies. If I want to stop using certain things that are not in line with who I want to be or helping me really feel connected with people in real life, I need to take these same kinds of steps sometimes of, wait, I want to move towards the relationship. I want to, and it's just that element of, okay, I got to figure out how I'm going to replace it, how I'm going to spend that time differently.
Yeah.
Because that's where it starts to get a little more uncomfortable. Because when you show up more in your relationship, most of the time your partner asks, what's different here?
What's different? What's going on?
Right. Something's just changed here. And that's where it becomes uncomfortable conversations that are worth it in the long run.
Yeah.
So another email that came in from a wife saying, my husband's communicated with several swinging couples that offer different podcasts about this lifestyle. We've listened to several together, and most of the time these podcasts only upset me terribly. I'm so heartbroken and scared. He says he's very curious about it. This is something I'm opposed to at my core. We're in our early 60s, and we have a pretty darn good sex life and are working to improve it, and including more adventure, also improve our communication, and my husband's desire to talk more openly about sex. But when we get to non-monogamy, I put on the brakes. In the past, we've tried some soft, playful bondage using a swing, etc. We do love each other and enjoy spending time together. He has most often been the initiator with sex, but I've been an active, sexually satisfied participant. He thinks non-monogamy is okay with consent. He's heard in these podcasts that there are healthy, strong marriages having sex with others, then coming back to their married partner. He's mentioned the desire to have sex in front of or physically beside another couple having sex too. He's very interested in talking or meeting couples who live within that lifestyle to satisfy his curiosity. My mind has been blown. My heart has been broken, especially after 42 years of marriage. We're in counseling and trying to figure out a future path together. Can you offer any help? Thanks. Again, this is loaded with all kinds of things.
Yeah, totally loaded.
Because here's the scenario where we can interpret, tell me if I'm off on this, as the voice of all women out there. So you're going to be the voice of this wife here.
You're the voice of all women, or I'm?
You are.
Okay.
You
yes.
are. So tell me, because she's the one that wrote it. And so tell me if I'm missing something.
Okay.
And we're going to answer it in the extended content today.
Okay.